And now for our next news special report.
When was the last time you felt the weight of a story that had the potential to reshape the world's political landscape? Well, tonight we're diving into revelations that could send shockwaves throughout the Middle East right to our doorstep. The intricate web involves alleged Israeli plans, U.S. involvement, and Russia's chess game with some of the region's most significant players. Hamas, Iran, and the U.S. military are all headliners in a narrative that is as controversial as it is compelling. The details are jaw-dropping, but the stakes even higher. Before we dive deep into this special report, promise me one thing. Stay with me until the end. Because trust me, the final thought we have for you tonight isn't just a conclusion, it's a call to action for every citizen of our great republic. Don't miss it. As we venture into tonight's pressing narrative, remember that the unpredictable nature of our world reminds us to always stay prepared. Whether it's geopolitics or personal crisis, preparation is key. And to support our cause and ensure your family's safety, My Patriot Supply is offering an exclusive 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food kit. Think of it as being vigilant, similar to how we remain watchful in constantly evolving news cycle. Grab this limited time deal for each family member by visiting preparewithgary.com. Remember, in a world of uncertainties, preparation makes all the difference. Now back to our critical coverage. Middle East dynamics have always been intricate, but recent revelations hint at a much larger puzzle unfolding. Israel, it seems, is planning to utilize Hamas underground tunnels in a manner that's causing widespread concern. Reports emerging from the Middle East Eye suggest that there's a strategy in place to use internationally banned nerve gas and chemical weapons within these tunnels. Now, the purpose behind this is not just to incapacitate Hamas, but also carry out a surprise attack on the Gaza Strip. How credible are these allegations? Well, a senior Arab source well acquainted with Palestinian resistance groups states that the expectation is for Israel to flood the Hamas tunnels with nerve gas, all while under the watchful eyes of U.S. Delta Force commandos. The aim, it's believed, is twofold: to penetrate the tunnels, thus saving an estimated 220 hostages, and to eliminate thousands of soldiers from the Hamas al-Qassam brigades. The source even claims that this information comes from a leak within the United States, although its authenticity hasn't been independently verified by Middle East Eye. Now, the concept of surprise seems pivotal to the strategy. If the details are accurate, the nerve gas will paralyze those within the tunnels for up to 12 hours. This window is perceived as an opportunity for forces to rescue hostages and neutralize threats. While these allegations are indeed alarming, they're not the only significant activities in the region. Israeli troops, bolstered by tanks, recently conducted a brief raid on northern Gaza. This operation targeted Hamas fighters and anti-tank equipment, possibly hinting at a larger-scale incursions as the days come ahead. As it stands, Gaza has witnessed 3 Israeli raids since the beginning of the current conflict, with the repercussions being felt deeply among the Palestinian population. Take a look.
Well, Israel has carried out a relatively large ground operation overnight in northern Gaza. Israeli troops and tanks entered Gaza targeting terror infrastructure in preparation for the next stage of combat. They have since withdrawn. A ground invasion has not been launched, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has indicated that it is likely. In other key developments overnight, the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza has released a document that it claims contains the names and the ID numbers of the more than 7,000 Palestinians killed. Israel says more than 220 people are still being held hostage in Gaza. Sky's Deborah Haynes filed this report from southern Israel.
It was the biggest raid inside Gaza since Israel's war with Hamas began. Tanks opened fire under the cover of darkness. Bulldozers helping to pave the way. The threat from hidden explosives is high. This footage released by the Israeli military showed images of what they described as a limited incursion ahead of an expected full-scale ground invasion.
Forces killed terrorists and destroyed Hamas infrastructure in the Strip. The incursion is part of our preparations for the next stages of the war.
By morning, the troops had pulled back, but attacks continued from a distance. This was the view from the Israeli side of the border after a strike on Gaza City.
These raids come on the heels of intense airstrikes over the past 2 weeks, leading to immense devastation. Thousands have lost their lives, with over 1 million people displaced within the densely populated region of Gaza. Satellite images by Maxar Technologies lay bare the extent of the damage, with entire residential areas obliterated. Amidst the volatile situation, the U.S. military has also been proactive. They launched airstrikes on 2 locations in Syria linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps in retaliation for drone and missile attacks on U.S. assets. Watch.
Jennifer, this sounds like huge news.
Sean, we can report, based on senior military sources, that U.S. warplanes have carried out airstrikes tonight inside Syria against Iranian proxy forces. We don't know the number of strikes. We were told earlier today to expect that perhaps F-15s and F-16s would be involved in the airstrikes, but we don't have confirmation yet about how many warplanes. But those strikes have been carried out. I'm told it is in response to the more than dozen strikes against U.S. bases. The message is a clear message designed to Iran and its proxy forces to stop carrying out these drone and rocket attacks against U.S. bases. But I'm told that the planes have safely left the area and that the airstrikes are complete at this time. They were targeting multiple locations inside Syria and Iranian proxy forces, Sean.
The intention is clear: to signal that any threats to U.S. personnel won't go unanswered. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was explicit in stating that while these strikes were a direct response to provocations by Iranian-backed militias, they were separate from Israel's actions against Hamas. Let's not forget the broader context. With over 7,000 Palestinians and more than 1,400 Israelis dead, the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas is unprecedented in its ferocity. But as we know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. As Israel retaliates against Hamas' earlier attacks and prepares for a potential ground offensive, there are clear signs of the conflict expanding beyond its borders. Ties between regional players are becoming more evident. Hezbollah, the Iranian-supported ally of Hamas, has been actively engaged with Israel along their shared border. This escalation prompted the U.S. to dispatch two aircraft carrier strike groups to the region, bolstered by additional military assets. To add another dimension, Russian involvement can't be overlooked. Both Iran and Hamas delegations have recently convened in Moscow. The stated purpose of these meetings, as per Hamas announcement, was to discuss the Israeli operations in Gaza and strategies to counter them. Notably, Russia's meetings with Hamas also revolved around the release of foreign hostages in the Gaza Strip, as per Russian sources. But what is the endgame? Israel, for its part, seems determined to undermine Hamas' ability to govern or pose a significant threat. Yet they've also indicated no intention of reoccupying Gaza. Benny Gantz, an influential member of Israel's war cabinet, underscored that any ground offensive would be part of a comprehensive long-term strategy spanning multiple areas. It's evident that the geopolitical machinations at play are profound, and the ramifications of the current conflict could shape the Middle East for years to come. Now, the situation remains fluid. As we keep our eyes glued on this evolving narrative, it's crucial to recognize the delicate balance of power in the region and the potential consequences for our great republic. Now, the situation isn't just about distant nations or foreign policies. It's about understanding the intricate fabric of our world as our republic engages in these geopolitical chess games. We must stay informed, aware, and prepared. Every move, every alliance, every airstrike affects the delicate balance of power and peace. And for us, it's crucial to remain vigilant, to ensure our nation's interests, safety, and values are upheld in this volatile landscape. Stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay united. We're a republic, and together we face the challenges of a rapidly changing world. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.